All right, so good evening for everyone in attendance tonight. I know a number of familiar names here, so it's great to see everyone. My name is Jim Kupfer. I'm the Assistant Director of Planning and Development for the town of Barnstable. And I am here to coordinate a conversation regarding the redevelopment opportunities for the former Marstons Mills Elementary School property. And I'll go through a quick presentation on kind of the project itself and the process. And then tonight is really meant for question and answer, and then some early public comment from all of you all who are on this evening. For those that aren't aware, we had a Tuesday meeting, in-person Tuesday meeting at Liberty Hall, very well attended. Somewhere between 75 and 80 of our residents attended and offered a lot of great feedback and early comment. And I'm hoping to continue that conversation tonight. And then I'll outline all the different ways in which you can continue to participate in this process and project. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick and go through this PowerPoint presentation. And then at the very end, if we like to, I'll open it up to questions. So please, if you don't mind, just holding questions till the very end, and then we can have a great conversation. So just a moment. All right, so the title screen should be showing on your screen now. Marstons Middle School Property Master Plan Community Kickoff Meeting. So this is the first week of the kickoff. Obviously, as I mentioned, meeting number 2. We had a great meeting on Tuesday night. A lot of great early input. Let's see here. All right, so there's been a lot of starts and stops with this project, I know, over the past decade or so. The project intent here this year, 2024, is to create a master site development plan for the 14.2 acre parcel, formerly the site of the Marstons Mills Elementary School. That's kind of the plain English. That's what we're looking to do. We're looking to eventually create a master site development plan for this parcel. It's a large part, 14.2 acres, a large parcel. I know in our first conversation on Tuesday, many people had it kind of struggled to kind of understand what 14.2 acres really is and how that would align with, similar schools that we've taken down in the past, Katuitt, Osterville, et cetera. So we are going to be, that's some of our homework for future meetings, is kind of giving the public kind of an understanding of what that 14.2 acres looks like in comparison, and maybe some other projects from across the Commonwealth too that have done similar projects. But this is ultimately the project intent. I should start off by saying, as I did the last meeting, no pen has touched paper yet on a project. No concepts have been developed. Again, my name is Jim Kupfer. I am the lead on this project. I have not put any pen to paper on any kind of concept whatsoever. You'll see online here we have our consultants from BSC Group. We have 2 great engineers from BSC Group who will be helping me kind of scale out whatever concepts come about. But they're here to listen and take notes and hear from all of you this evening. And they've also helped me with a really cool interactive tool that I'll show you as well for participation. So project intent is just that. Project timeline. We are here at the kickoff meeting this week. Saturday, if you're available, would love to have you join me for a site walk of the site. I know you all are probably very well familiar with the site. However, we did have our survey team stake out all of our corner points of the project extents. And, even as much as you may know of the site, it was a little eye-opening for me to walk the perimeter and understand exactly where all the points are, where maybe some encroachments might be, where how far away certain properties are. So it was a great eye opener and another opportunity for you to provide comments as well. So I will be out there along with some of my project team members to walk the site with our residents and hear from everyone. Beyond the site walk, based on our feedback from Tuesday, we want to have another kind of like an open house in person in Marstons Mills, probably by the end of the month. We haven't set a date just yet, but based on the feedback, they wanted to continue the conversation before we really put pen to paper. So I'm sliding in another bullet for bullet 3, essentially just above concept design work, to have one more in person, probably at Liberty Hall again, to start flushing out some of the concepts that you all have discussed to kind of better understand where we're headed. From that, we will begin to start putting some pen to paper finally and kind of understand from all the concepts that have been floated out there how it might lay out on a 14.2 acre parcel, knowing that not all the extents are going to be used, knowing that there are some buffers necessary, knowing the extent of the site and kind of the limitations. Try to lay out in some manner a couple different options of concepts. And once we have that, we look to return to the village. Probably we're targeting September. We probably could do that sooner, but honestly, I don't think anyone want to hear from the town in August. We all want to be enjoying our beautiful scenic Cape Cod, and we'll be back in September to bug you. And so we'll return to the village in September, hopefully with some concepts that you all can dig into and further refine. And then I will be joined by our engineering team, and we'll be listening to your feedback and further refine those concepts. From there, once we have that, we look to update our town council, our leadership team, as to where we stand with the project, hopefully by the end of the calendar year. And with those updates and feedback, both from the village and council, we again look to return to the village in January to try our best to refine the concept to one preferred concept that we can move forward with. So that final concept design may be in the spring of the coming year. So we got a ways to go. We're about a year out before we really come to what could be the conclusion. And there's no hard deadline there. If it's not quite right, we don't have, some mostly consensus on a certain type of design, or leadership wants us to go back and think about a few other ideas. There's not a requirement to finalize this design this coming year, but obviously we have a beautiful site. The school has now officially come down. And so it would be good to have an idea of a path forward, master plan for that site. So again, I'm sure all of you are well familiar with the site, but putting in an aerial always helps me kind of understanding the extents here. Those are the parcels. I know one of them at least was a surprise to some, one that fronts on Hilltop. So it's not the school site necessarily, but it is contiguous town land. So that is a small parcel of land. I believe it's maybe somewhere between a quarter and a half acre, I believe. That front on Hilltop doesn't mean we have to do anything with it, but it's important to note that that's there. And we should have a discussion about whether or not any type of features get incorporated on that site. Same thing with that small, or not, that narrow triangle of land that runs along 28. It's technically a separate parcel of land, but contiguous to town land, and we should have a discussion about what we should or should not do on that site. I will note, as I did on Tuesday, that one or actually two items that have already been contemplated for this site that are separate from this project are as the Department of Public Works has notified me that a pump station will be necessary on 28 to continue their comprehensive wastewater management plan. So separate and distinct from this project in and of itself, a pump station is looking to be sited, and hopefully you can see my cursor. They are looking to identify a site in this general area. This is a very steep site. I was a little surprised by the location, but that's I'm not an engineer. Tom would probably know better than I on that one. But that's where DPW has notified me that they will be looking to further explore this general area for a pump station. And so if you go out on that area, either on Saturday or and you're just enjoying the site, there are some blue stakes, and that is the Department of Public Works looking at potential options for that location. I did mention the site is staked on the corners. Those orange stakes that you see out there, those are ours. That's to understand the extent of the parcel. No construction is being made because of that. It's just simply I've asked our survey team to put those stakes out there so we can understand exactly where the site boundaries are. Excuse me. Just another map showing the extent. Some people work better on parcel lines than aerial, so I wanted to include both. Obviously, conservation area down this way, steep slope over in this general area. So those will be certainly limiting factors where we'll probably need to stay far, far away from. As I mentioned, a pump station, potentially this is, if you don't know, this is generally what we do in Barnstable, at least, what a pump station looks like. They don't always look like this, but certainly in Barnstable, we tend to do a nice little cape that acts as a little structure for the pump station. This is the one on South Street. You all are probably very much familiar with the newest one on Finney and 28, where the giant red crane was all year long. The reason I note this as timing of future development is if any possible development or use at all on this site is going to need septic of any kind or sewage of any kind. Sewer is not contemplated until 2027, according to DPW. And so that would likely be the timing for any future development if there's any septic or sewage capacity necessary. Obviously, that's part of the comprehensive wastewater management plan. We don't want to be adding additional septics in the area if we can help it. So when handed the project, these were identified as the project goals. Next will be our objectives and goals. These are kind of outlined as our goals and objectives for the project. They can they're not hard or fast. They can mold and morph into what the community wants based on all the feedback that we get. And that's why number one in our project goals is engagement with community. This is our first step. Again, Tuesday was very well attended. We wanted to do a virtual option for those who maybe aren't in the area just yet or just prefer the virtual option. This is recorded. We'll post it online. And please share it with your friends and family so that they can have an opportunity to review the project, understand where we are, and join at a later date. Next is evaluate outdoor uses in natural areas that add recreational value for residents. Third is explore opportunities to provide housing. 4 is to identify uses complementary to the Marstons Mills Village Center. 5 is to preserve our community character. And lastly, enhance ecological value. And that could take many forms, but really talking about, preservation of tree canopy, potentially limiting impervious surface, et cetera, et cetera. Our master plan objectives. So as a town, we have lots of planning studies and analysis and our community goals. And so we want to look back at all of our studies and all of our work that we've done to date to understand what are some of our goals and work towards building off of the plans that we've developed previously. So those being things like our housing needs assessment, our open space and recreation plan, our comprehensive wastewater management plan, our local comprehensive plan, and looking forward as to what would be best for this location, along with all of your input. Again, just like the third bullet states, conduct a collaborative, transparent process that provides opportunities for stakeholder input and town feedback, and is one of the primary reasons why we are doing these kickoff meetings first before putting any pen to paper to really understand what the needs are, what the desires are, and come back and formulate it together as a community. And lastly, develop concept options that are compatible with our community character. So project deliverables, first is to have robust public comment. Next is to start developing out design plans, architectural renderings of any kind, material palettes of any kind, work again collaboratively in a public setting, and final designs that will seek a master plan for this site. So there's many different ways to comment. And Tuesday night we had some boards up there, one of which was kind of a wishing wall. What would you like to see here on the site? What are some preferred uses? We had housing typology options. We had preferred amenities options, things like, recreation, open space, rain gardens, etc. We had other uses, some that may have not have come up in the past, things like small business or mixed use. One thing, other uses that may come up as well that you're contemplating for the need for the village center. And so all of these, these comments we took in on Tuesday night, and we can tonight as well as we have our Q&A and public comment period. But also, after this meeting, after our discussion, there's many ways for you to comment as well. One is the online tool. So if you're on our planning website and you go, so the town's website, the planning board or planning department's website, we have a current projects page and Marstons Mills School Property Master Plan. So this is an important link for everyone that wants to stay up to date and see any of the updated information. It's all going to be posted right on this link. And this presentation even will be right back on this link here. And that will open up to this page here. This right now has all of the meetings that we're going to be having, the ones from Tuesday, the ones from tonight, and the ones on Saturday. But it also has a link for an interactive public comment tool for the project. So this is one way you can continue to provide comments. This is just a screenshot of it from I think Monday night when I was developing out this. And so what you can do, the interactive tool lets you drop a little dot on the map, and you can associate a type of use that may be already developed out. You can also add other uses that you're thinking about. And then if you see a use that's already there, you can like that as well. And we can build out this platform so we can understand the uses that are of interest to our village and our community. But also if you are, if you take a look at it, you're like, you know what, I just want to talk to Jim. I just want to shoot him an email. Please do that. Excuse me. You're welcome to shoot me an email, give me a call and tell me I got comments and I need you to come pick them up. I'll swing by your house. Honestly, I just want as many comments as possible. So the easiest possible way for you to give us comments, we're interested and we will facilitate that. So please don't hesitate to give me a call, shoot me an email. Cal Pedicini also assisting us and on the call today. His email and phone number right there as well. He's well versed in this project and talk to you about it. Also, stop by town hall. We can have those comments. But this is a great interactive tool, and it also can let you see what other people are thinking as well. Ultimately, once we close the comment period, which will likely be in a little over a month, we haven't set a hard deadline just yet, but once we set that deadline and we collect all those comments, we will publish all those comments. We may not put names to those comments, but we will put in full the comments that are received. So you can see what other folks in the village and in the community are saying and interested in. And it can also help understand why maybe certain concepts are being looked at. So with that, community meetings coming up. Obviously tonight is our Zoom link. I mentioned our public site walk is Saturday, May 4th, which is this Saturday at 9 a.m. I'll have some coffee. So please join us there. Please bring friends, family, kids. I'll have some soccer balls out. My kids will likely be there. Come join us, walk the site with us, offer comments. Yeah, we want to hear from you. So lastly, closing out on this project timeline again, we're at the kickoff meeting, site walk. We're going to add another in-person meeting towards the end of the month, end of May, and we'll push out a press release for that. And then we'll start getting on the concept designs this summer and be back to you in the fall. So again, to stay informed, please reach out to myself or Kyle, or again, just go to the town's website and check out all the items on the current project page. And I'll close with, again, just this aerial here. This is our site extents, what we're looking at. But tonight, it's really not meant to be about me and my comments. It's more to hear from you all. So please, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those now. And you can just raise your hand, I believe, on the item, or just unmute. It's a small crowd, so we can take it as they come. And then after question and answer, please, we can open it up to public comment as well. We're writing them all down. Anything that you think is a desire for this site for its future, we're interested in hear it now, or you certainly can provide it at all the options that I provided. So with that, thank you. And now I'm open up to question and answer. Yes, Wendy.
Sorry, I didn't think I could unmute myself. How many of the 14 acres are buildable for housing?
Well,
Would be.
14 of the 14 acres that are buildable, I wouldn't say just for that specific use, but for that are buildable, it's closer to about 12 to 11 to 12. Though we haven't engineered that out yet. We have our engineering team here. The most we've done is have our survey team do the outline of the parcel to date. We haven't. We know that there's no real wetlands on the site. To the areas that we're looking to look at. There is a steep slope down to the southwest corner of the site that we'll likely stay away from, and that's why I float the number of 11 or so acres. But we haven't really laid out exactly how much could be buildable land at this point.
And of the different housing types that you showed at the last meeting, have you run any statistics on which is the most efficient if we want to provide some housing, some affordable housing, whether it's the small ADUs or the multiple dwelling units?
In terms of, well, I mean, in terms of efficiency, if you're looking for numbers, I mean, I think we know what the typology would be, but I think it's more complex than that of a conversation that we're looking to have. I don't, at least from what I've heard to date, it's not necessarily numbers. It's more of, achieving a lot of our goals as a community. And so if that is housing for as one of the uses, I don't think, from based on the comments, it's not necessarily a pure numbers. It's more of how will it lay out to support the village appropriately.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. I was just wondering, I would assume that you would have run some statistics on the need for affordable housing and what type of building best addresses that. That's what I was looking for.
I see. And so we are working through our housing production plan of town-wide. So we understand kind of the needs for affordable housing, but again, no, we haven't really looked at site-specific as to, what typology would be best there at this point.
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Of course.
Jim?
Yes, sir.
Hi, this is Tom. First of all, thank you for doing this. I very much admire and appreciate your ability to involve the public and educate them and have so much information on the website and everything else. I'm sorry I couldn't make it in person Tuesday. I was out of state, but thank you for this. I guess in looking at the one slide where you said builds on needs and principles and existing plans, including the town's housing needs assessment, open space and recreation plan, CWMP, and others. I guess, is there a way to summarize that briefly without having to read through all those plans? Is there some bullets on what that really is?
Yeah, I think rather than summarizing it right now, what we could do is grab some of the well, all of it, we could summarize each of those plans in goal form and put them on our project page, perhaps for you.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, because those are weighty documents, I understand, and they are fairly robust in terms of the needs town-wide,
Mhm.
and and it ranges again for, as you mentioned, housing, open space, sewer, and our local comprehensive plan. And some of these are actually being actively worked on now. So, as we're building out new information, we can certainly add to the page as well. But we'll certainly do that.
Mhm. Yeah, how do you balance the needs of the village with the needs of the town and voices from the village versus voices from other parts of the town?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, really, where we are to date is really listening overall. So, those in our community are welcome to provide comments, input,
Mhm.
and we'll consider, our all of our residents' input. But, as we develop out these concepts, we've committed to being strategic about how it interacts with the village. So, while one person vote may not carry more weight than another, you know, context wise, when we're looking at the village and our leadership, our council is looking at the village, I think we need to take that into consideration. Things such as 28 is a very busy road. We heard on Tuesday night from a firefighter from COM that says, that's a challenge to get out of that and go left. So we need to be mindful of that. Need to be mindful. I mentioned the property that fronts on Hilltop. That's a quaint residential road. We need to be mindful of if we do anything with that. We don't want to disturb that in any great manner. We're from a lot of the abutting residents that have enjoyed a lot of nice buffer, and I haven't heard anyone that says we want to take that away from them. So it is going to be a challenge to weigh all the different voices, but I think that tends to flesh itself out as long as you do a thorough community outreach and work together to achieve that. I think we can get there.
Is there
But it's
any,
Yeah.
is
Go
there
ahead, Tom.
any chance that there would be a connector directly from 28?
To Main Street.
Yes.
So I mean, technically it's not off the table, but I've heard that maybe the most that we don't want that. I think whether you live there or don't live there and you've just been to the site one or two times, that those two that was disconnected for a reason a very long time ago,
Mhm.
for a very good reason. And so that's been an early comment even before we started this project, actually, when I was there for the local comprehensive plan a year ago. Whatever happens there, please don't connect those two, because that's going to be a throughway that I don't think maybe in everyone's best interest, but we'll have more conversations about it.
I mean, depending on how much housing there is, you may reconfigure that intersection, right, with 149, I guess, right?
Potentially, yeah, yeah. I guess if you were to go to that extent, potentially. We
Yeah.
haven't really had that conversation though, but yeah.
Thank you very
And
much.
it
Thank you.
doesn't have to be a car connector too. It could be a pedestrian way down to
Yeah.
the main street, which would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. Yeah, that's a great point. It's and one that I think maybe gets lost sometimes in this conversation. We're talking about kind of weighty subjects, big topics. Open space, housing, etc. But there are some real fine details that should hopefully will come out of these conversations. These pedestrian connections that might be able to meander through this site, no matter the use, and other potential amenities that, I mean, it's a 14.2 acre site. There's quite a bit of room to do quite a bit or not, depending on what we want to see there. Again, as I think I mentioned in the very beginning, one of the things that I think is going to be our mission is to better explain to the public what really 14.2 acres looks like in terms of opportunities for comparable uses looking across the Commonwealth, because the 50s, 60s, 70s we built school after school after school, and for the past 20 years we've been across the Commonwealth tearing them down. So there's definitely some precedent that we can look at to see, what are some good practices that have been achieved.
And I mean, a general comment, I'd love to see whatever does happen there definitely sort of positively impact the local businesses in the village, because I know that they would very much appreciate that as well. Whatever that looks like.
That's a great point, Amanda. Maybe I don't know if I could work with you perhaps or maybe over the summer to maybe engage all the local businesses there, and we could have maybe a roundtable or something.
I'm in, just tell me when. Maybe not
Excellent.
this summer though, because they're a little busy.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Does anybody else have any comments, questions?
Hey, Jim, Jesse Nolan. I'm actually a Hilltop resident. Is there any opportunity to maybe sell off that piece of land for just a residential home?
Potentially. I mean, that could certainly be a discussion. I believe there is some history there in terms of maybe selling it off in the past. We could have a conversation with asset management. So yeah, potentially, there are maybe other opportunities too. Of maybe, again, as Amanda was saying, maybe some pedestrian connections that get you to Main or 149 or something like that. But yeah, we could certainly have more conversations about that, and I can reach out to asset management about what they've done in the past with that site, because obviously,
yeah, I mean, my husband and I are really
little
excited to see what happens. We walk the dog through there. There's a little path there. Even when the school was still there, and I walk the dog to the post office, and it's really such a cute little village, and I'm excited to see what else we can do there. I have some ideas. There was a walking trail in Florida, and it was called like a parkour trail. I'll have to find it and send you the link, but basically it's this big walking trail, and every couple of feet there were like little different exercise options. It was pretty cool, and you can choose to do them, choose not to do them, and there's different levels of there were like monkey bars and things that you could do push-ups on. It was pretty cool. I'll have to find it for you and send it along. I actually said to my husband, this could be really cool in that area.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, send it along, please. Excellent. Jane, I see your hand up.
Hello?
Yep.
Oh, hi, Jim. Thank you and Kyle very much for having this. I did attend the meeting last Tuesday at the Liberty Hall, and it was very enlightening. And backing on Jesse's comment, I concur with the I sent you and Kyle little concept I've been working on since November about a walking trail and fitness stations, and unfortunately they got kicked back to me. I think there was too much of information. So
yeah, I think we're limited to maybe 10 megabytes or something like that.
yeah,
but
so perhaps I can just copy them and give them to you. But no opposed to housing, but it needs, there's no doubt there's a need for housing. And but certainly mindful and considerate of the neighborhood, the people on Main Street. There's right there is a 1700s house and they have horses, and like, how do you compromise with that? It's like we need to keep with the character of the town, and but the fitness park I agree with Jesse so much. I had shoulder surgery and I went to Johnny Kelly Park, and I couldn't believe that they had the arm bicycle that I needed to do my shoulder surgery. And I went, oh my God, this is awesome. And it's a park for everybody. Like, we all know not everybody's into pickleball, golf, um, you know, disc golf. Um, Burgess Park has kind of been inundated with that. And, that was my sanctuary until that came in, but whatever. There's just, there are so many opportunities with, you know, I understand sewage coming in. Uh, Housing is going to be unlimited, but we need to be mindful and careful about, what we put in there, and can't be, you know, six, can't be cut through from Route 28. That's a accident waiting to happen. So we have to be mindful of the traffic. It's so backed up there between South County and 149 all the time. But you don't want that traffic to flow to Main Street to disrupt, the historic area of the town. And, furthermore, I don't know, Jim, if you have any idea of how many units. I know you said there's no pen to paper, but how many units could
Yeah.
could there be going in there? Um, my little world concept, I think 15 would be a maximum, but that's me. So, I have pictures, and I went to AARP to look up a grant for these fit lots, they're called, those fitness stations. That was way too big to send to you guys, so I will just probably give you a little copy of that when I see you on Saturday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jane. I appreciate it. And yes, we truly haven't put pen to paper to understand number of units, if at all. But yeah, as I mentioned to Wendy, it's going to be context sensitive, and we first want to hear from you all about what type, if any, housing, and then we put that pen to paper. And well, as I mentioned, as part of the process, when we come back with concepts, that's when we'll know, it won't be refined, but if housing is one of those concepts, we'll have boxes and understand kind of the unit count. We could talk if it is the 15 or whatever you would mention, Jane, then you would be able to see that on a concept. But again, we haven't come anywhere near putting that on paper today. We want to first hear from you guys.
Well, thank you for having this, and thank you for listening to me.
Of course.
Thank you.
Corey?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Hi, Jim. It was good to meet you the other night, and some of the other individuals I'm seeing here as well. Apologies, I actually just joined late, and I caught the tail end of Amanda's comments about tying in the local businesses that are already in existence there. So what I did not mention the other night during the meeting when we were talking was that I am also a local business owner down there. My sister and I own the Plum Porch. So I loved hearing that. And I just want to make sure that that continues to be a part of the conversations going forward. So I know that there's a lot of discussions and a lot of topics being discussed. But if we could incorporate that to make sure it's taken into consideration, that would be amazing and very much appreciated. I'm sure by everybody down there. I feel comfortable saying that on behalf of everybody. So thanks, Amanda, for mentioning that. I look forward to hearing more about what was discussed. I love that you're here and advocating for us. So we know we're in good hands with you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, that will hand it off to Amanda.
No, what I was going to say is kind of what you're saying, Jim, or what I'm gathering is that what's really exciting is that this is a really big piece of property so that it could serve multiple uses. It doesn't have to be either or. And so that's, if we do say housing is something that we want to do there, that doesn't mean we can't have the walking trails and the fit park. So that is really exciting to me. And I think just both could bring the people to the Marstons Mills Village that the businesses need to populate their stores. And so I think, that's just was a comment I wanted to make. It's really exciting as a Marstons Mills resident, but also, as a business advocate.
Excellent. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, there are some nuances to all of it. So yeah, as we develop it out, we'll get into a lot of it. I know on Tuesday night we talked about a little bit about whether the town would sell the property, whether the town would lease the property, whether the town would retain the property. But one of the things that I don't think we really touch on is it could be a mixture of all of that. We could retain a portion of it. We could sell off. We could lease. It's all on the table right now, and as Amanda mentioned, and we mentioned previously, it's such a massive site that it's probably good to keep it all on the table for right now. Jesse, do you have another comment?
Yeah, I think that, on top of what Jane's saying and what everybody said so far, I really think that your bullet point saying that developing a concept that's compatible with the community character, right? I was born and raised in Falmouth, and it's kind of sad to me to see how many of these, I know that there's a need for housing 100%, but I'm a real estate agent. I obviously see it every day, but to see some of these big housing developments pop up, it's kind of dampering the classic Cape Cod character of these areas. So, 100% do I think that we can put some housing there? Yes, but it just has to be done tastefully, and I would love, like I said, I walk all over the place. I go into Plum Porch and get my clothing gifts. I go to the Fig every Sunday. So I love being able to be in the village. But it would be great to see what else we can put there that could attract more people and that could be walkable for us that live in the area. And, incorporate some more small businesses and offer some other things as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Jesse. Anybody else have any comments, questions? No? Well, excellent. Well, this was a great opportunity to get in front of a few more folks. Saturday again is our next interaction. We'll be on site Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Right on the old school site. I'll have coffee and donuts. Please join me and tell your friends, family. And as I mentioned in the beginning, based on our feedback already, we're going to have another in-person kind of open house workshop, I think, towards the end of the month. And so more to come on that, but we hope to get even more input and excitement before we really put pen to paper. But before we go, Corey, I think you may have one more comment.
Yes, sorry, I've got one save round. This is something I knew I had an idea that I was trying to remember. Has there been any talk? It might be a little contentious potentially, but I think it's worth putting on the list of ideas, maybe redoing our Marstons Mills library, using a part of this land to build a bigger, better Marstons Mills library. I just see some of the libraries in other villages that are right next door that are just amazing, like amazing facilities that the entire community benefits from, every single age. There's so many educational workshops, so many interactive things that can take place for younger kids. I mean, we all know what the libraries can do for us. You just take a look at Osterville and Centerville that are right here. And I think that it might be time for the Marstons Mills Library to kind of catch up. I think that us residents here in the village would love that. So
Excellent. Thank you, Corey. That's actually a unique one. I don't think we've heard that one yet. So thank you. Yeah, we'll add that to the
Great suggestion. Great
thank
suggestion.
you. Yeah, that's exciting to think about.
And Wendy, yep.
Yeah, just if I can comment on the library is a historic building. I'm on the Marstons Mills Historical Society, and also the difficulty there is that the town does not own the library or have anything to do with it. It's public. It's privately owned, and I don't think most people understand that we, the citizens, are the people who keep that library open. And if we're going to do anything with it, we would have to come up for the funding with it, I believe.
Wow.
Yep, so I did know that, so thank you very much for being a part of the library. But maybe we could look into ways that we could make that happen through the town. You know, so I just don't want to completely write it off as a possibility.
Well, any last comments before we go?
What's the weather report for Saturday morning?
I know it. I'm hoping it's going to be clear. It was raining for a little while, but it looks clear now. I'll be there, rain or shine, but I don't expect you guys to be there for if it's downpouring. We'll do a rain date if it is raining hard, but I'll be there, and hopefully it will be nice and clear. But, excellent.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight, and I'll see you guys soon.